Ladies, gentlemen, and all you freaking nerds, we are Digital Waypoint. Mason's laughing at me because I think I peaked.
I'm looking at the massive spike on this visualizer right now. I think that's the biggest one you've had yet.
Hey, there we go. We're making history here on May 21st. I don't know why I said it like that. May 21st.
I thought you were going to say 24th.
21. May 21. I'm sitting here. Mason just talked. He was cute when he did it. Mason, how are you feeling?
I'm tired today.
He's tired.
Yeah.
Boy, you know.
What do I?
I don't know. I didn't know what to say right there. I'm going to be honest. I got a little stage fright. You know who doesn't get stage fright? My boy, A Cloudy Sky. All right, he's the music that you just listened to before I threw my voice out and also probably busted out your speakers.
Yeah.
He is really good. Hit him up. Sky is spelled S-K-Y-E. It's just a cloudy sky, no spaces. You can find him on not Snapchat. You can find him on Spotify. You can find him on SoundCloud. You can find him on iMusic, whatever the
Apple Music.
Apple Music. Freaking loser uses that. You can find him anywhere that you listen to music.
Yeah.
So go hit him up. He's a cool dude. All righty. Today, we're getting into the meat and bones of what pisses people off. I feel like this is something that like people talk about. They don't talk about it enough, but when they do talk about it, the few times that people talk about it, they just like lose their marbles.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about yearly releases and looking at sort of the pros and cons of doing something like a yearly release, as well as the major offenders, which you can Google bad yearly releases, and you're going to find 3 names that pop up all the time. And so we're going to talk about those names. But yeah, I think that this is a really interesting thing to look at because, like, for some games, I feel like it makes sense for a yearly release. But then in other games, you're like, oh my God, dude. Like, too much of a good thing can really almost in some ways tank a franchise.
Yeah.
And I feel like it kind of did it for one of those names that we'll talk about. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, me too. So I have a little spiel here written out.
Get your
popcorn.
popcorn.
Read it.
Let's go.
Get your popcorn.
Get your popcorn. Put your feet up.
So my little intro here. Ready? All right. So yearly release video games, specifically video game franchises. I said specifically really weird. I don't know why. Have been around pretty much as long as the industry itself. They grew in popularity as annual franchises started becoming the best-selling franchises, pretty much, and specifically Call of Duty, FIFA, things like that.
Yeah.
And this means that you have a steady flow of content, but it also means that games potentially can be rushed to market. They can have bugs. They have really stale gameplay because they don't have enough time to innovate.
Yeah.
And then also, you can just get fatigued from having to play the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
So then in these cases, there's some games that benefit from adopting a longer development cycle. And recently, some annual games have stopped being annual.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer wait sometimes has been disappointing for fans, but it most of the time will drastically improve the overall experience. And I think also some anticipation and waiting can kind of improve sales too. For bigger games, I guess it depends on marketing and stuff like that. But like big games like Kingdom Hearts took forever. Kingdom Hearts 3, 15 years to come out or something like that. That's extreme. I'm not saying do that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us 2. A lot of people just were built up on that hype of
Yeah.
the 7-year wait period. But yeah, so most serious offenders, or the top 3, I've already mentioned Call of Duty, FIFA, and then we've got, well, most sports games, FIFA specifically.
Yes, I feel like broadening it to,
Yeah,
I mean, 2K.
yeah.
I'll admit I'm sucked up into the machine at 2K.
Yeah, I know you
But
are.
I mean, MLB.
Yeah.
You have all the NFL games.
Yep.
They might be bringing back NCAA, like the football.
Yeah, I
Which
saw
I heard
that.
a lot of people were really excited about that.
Yeah.
Because that's been a franchise that people have been like,
Yeah.
why are you not bringing this back? I'll give you my whole house and my wife.
Yeah.
Like, people are
It's-
freaking out.
You're right, yeah. And then, yeah, so I think Assassin's Creed is, I don't know if I would say it's even really benefited from not having a yearly release, because I don't think the last ones have been great.
And I mean, we can talk about that more here in a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, they were very intensely yearly releases and churning out banger after banger after
Mhm.
banger, and then they hit that brick wall,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was like, if I have to play another Assassin's Creed, I will kill myself.
Yeah.
Like, it was like aggressive, the shift.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we could I
don't know what that was.
Dude, that was almost bad. We can take a look at it later.
Okay.
Or if you want to start talking about it now.
No. Go ahead. Tell me what do you want to talk about?
So a lot of I think it's really interesting that a lot of these big companies try to push out, and I mean, we kind of talked about this with the specifically like CD Projekt Red and Should We Allow Bad Games, that podcast. You want to go take a listen to that, go back and
Episode
look at those.
3.
Yeah, episode 3.
Yep.
Take a look at that. A lot of people, a lot of massive gaming corporations, when you combine the sheer amount of money that comes from video games, a lot of companies want to take over, and they wanted to just start shoveling out stuff because the consumer is just a big freaking mouth, and a lot of times you can't really tell if it's getting good food or crap put in there.
Yeah. I saw, I don't remember where it was, but it was while I was doing some research for this, that video games, and I think they didn't specify, but I think they were saying video games when they became home consoles after Nintendo has been a growing market year over year. Like, it's never it's never stayed the same. It's never flatlined. It's never gone down. It's only climbed year over year since the release of the NES.
Yeah.
So they did have a crash in 83 with the arcades, but once Nintendo jumped in and stuff became home consoles, it's just been growing ever since.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so it's like all of that means a whole lot more money, and you can capitalize on the whole lot more money.
Yeah.
But you're going to be making probably some doo-doo along the way.
Yeah.
So it's, a lot of people have been pissed off. A lot of gamers, were pissed off that companies are doing this, even though it makes sense from a company standpoint.
Yeah, it does.
But that's why people really like it. When you have higher ups that are calling for, like, all right, we're going to make the game good, that's where we're going to release it. Specifically, Cory Barlog. He is the something. I don't actually.
I think he's the creative director.
Is he?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Let me look.
He's one of the top dudes who helped create.
Creative director.
He's a creative director of the 2018. Is that when it came out? The new God of War?
But he's done all of them.
Okay, so he's a creative director of God of War, basically. And the new God of War took a long time. It was a big development cycle, and people have been, after that game came out, and it was just the monumental success that it was, people have been like, all right, we need the second one right now. And it's been almost 3 years now, and we got like a teaser. That was it.
If you even want to call it a teaser.
I get like a teaser for a teaser.
Yeah.
We got like, it's in review. It's in development.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. I think it was titled though, right? It was titled Ragnarok, I think.
Was it actually titled?
Maybe it wasn't.
Okay. I don't remember.
I think it was like the World Serpent, which I think it just alluded to Ragnarok. I don't think it was titled. Yeah.
Whatever it was, people are freaking out. And so people have been clamoring to get it released sooner. But Cory Balrog tweeted, I don't actually know how long ago this was. I'm pretty sure that it was right around the hubbub of CD Projekt Red and whatever it's called, Cyberpunk. He tweeted, I don't know who needs to hear this, in quotation marks, certainly not me, since I've never heard of it, but when it's done, trust that it's best for everyone. And I think that is probably the way that every game should go.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that games come out with the amount of technical oomph that can be put behind this, the fact that this is I would imagine, multi-billion-dollar industry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The fact that games still come out and you're like, dude, there is nothing to this.
Yeah.
Like, you think of Balan's Wonderland.
I don't know.
Did you ever hear about that?
No.
It was supposed to be this, like, excuse me, this, like, Super Mario Odyssey inspired 3D platformer with, like, all of these. It looks.
How do you spell it?
Balan, I think, Wonderland. Balan's Wonderland. It was supposed to be like this flashy, this colorful, all this stuff, and it looks.
Oh, the thing with the hat.
Yeah. It looks bright and it looks fun or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
it's square.
There is nothing to the game. Like, since it came out, people have been taking enormous dumps on it. And, you know, people are taking enormous dumps on these yearly releases. And so having somebody who has had a successful game, and when you've had a couple successful games, like you think like Call of Duty, they were huge in the early 2010s, late 2000s.
I think COD 4 came out 2007, and from then it was just bam, 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 bam,
and
every year.
It really was up until, I mean, Advanced Warfare was still pretty freaking popular. Yeah. But it was Black Ops 3 was when it started to kind of like, I mean, it died down as kind of the incorrect phrase to use, because it's still just massively popular.
Oh yeah.
But it became less of a public thing. Like, you were like, everybody played Call of Duty back then.
Yeah.
And so they just kept on. It was year after year after year after year after year. And now a lot of people are burnt out on it. And that's why, I mean, Fortnite got so big. Yeah. Because people were sick of Call of Duty. They wanted to play something. And up until that point, they didn't have a BR. And then, of course, that was in the BR rush.
Yeah. I think it's so funny that, speaking of Fortnite, just really quick, that like the actual game just came out of beta like a couple months ago.
Did it really?
Yeah. Like the survival, what it was supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's what it was supposed to be when they originally made it.
I remember seeing like a game review of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And PUBG came out and they pivoted real quick, and they were like, "Oh, this is just a side mode." Yeah, no, that's what it became. Fortnite is a BR.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got stuff like that where it was like they had these massive games, sports games. You can really look at. I don't play as many sports games. I really only play like NBA 2K. And people loved like 2K16, 2K12, or 2K11. Yeah. But then like the same game kept coming out, and you really can't. This is for all sports games. You can't really like improve as much, and we'll talk more about that specifically. You can't really improve as much on the sport of basketball, because the sport of basketball doesn't really change. Yeah. It's pretty consistent. Yeah. And so, but those games, a lot of those games had their thing, and now they're going and going and going, and people are getting more and more frustrated, and like they specifically have become massive loot box stuff. Yeah. And then you have Assassin's Creed kind of to round it off, which you and I were talking before this started, before we started recording. There have been, it might take me a minute to count, including, if you don't want to include spin-offs, from 2007, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Assassin's Creed games.
What do you include spin-offs?
Do you want to include spin-offs?
Like what are you saying is a spin-off?
It's got like I'm looking at on
Like they're
the
actually
wiki.
categorized as spin-offs?
Yeah. So like
What are
you
they?
have like the DS ones,
Oh,
PSP.
Yeah.
You have some that are on
Like Liberation, I think, is a spin-off. Assassin's
yeah,
Creed 3.
Liberation's a
Yeah.
spin-off. You have like the Chronicle games, which are like the 2D stuff. But farts, I already forgot how many did I say? Like 12, 13?
Yeah.
Somewhere in
so.
there.
Yeah.
That's in 14 years. That is insane, right? It's been or I think I'm just stupid.
No, it hasn't been 14. It's been
farts.
No, it has been 14.
It's 14 years. Yeah, it's been 14 years.
Yeah.
Right?
It has
Yeah, it's been 14 years. Yeah, so they
it has
had
been. 2021. I keep thinking it's we're halfway through the year and I still think 2020.
Yeah, 12 games in 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane.
Mm-hmm.
For and it'd be one thing again if it was like a first person shooter.
Yeah.
Like, Call of Duty's had that.
Yeah.
Battlefield, they take a little bit more time, but their games are.
They used to be for a while. They were
for a while
like
they were
3, 4, and 5
chugging along. And then people got pissed off because they were always the more historically accurate.
Yeah.
And then they just stopped, and people are like, "That's the whole point. We're buying your game." And they're like, "Freaking buy it or don't. Who cares?"
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
it was,
and
they also got the Star Wars license and started making Battlefront, and so
Yeah.
it kind of tapered off.
yeah. So it's like you have all these games that they hit their mark,
Yeah.
and then they pull that freaking curtain and
Yeah.
let all the money come out until the money starts to stop. So that's why it's really nice. All of that to say, I think people really appreciate the fact that a game like the new God of War or
Mhm.
the 2018 God of War was so successful and so good,
Mm-hmm.
and yet they're not just working us through the machine.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. And I know a lot of people they hate it because they want to play it,
Yeah.
but they're excited because when the game comes out, it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah. And I think, too, with something like God of War, that it would probably be easy-ish for them to just churn out a sequel if they wanted to, just quickly,
Oh, yeah.
because they're going to use the same engine. It's
Yeah.
like because Majora's Mask came out like a year, 10 months after Ocarina of Time.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something, I mean, like
Yeah,
super
it was
fast turnaround.
Stupid quick.
So, and it's kind of the same situation where you've got God of War, and it's same engine, same stuff, but the fact that it's taken this long, because it came out in 2018, so it's not this long. It's been 3 years. But the fact that they're that adamant about taking their time, that we've only just now got a barely teaser trailer,
Yeah.
really shows that they're just focusing on not just like we got to get this out the door and make sales. They're really focusing on it being a quality game.
Yeah. Because you'll freaking, I mean, if you make, I've never understood, I say I've never understood, I'm going to contradict exactly that. I understand the reasoning behind companies wanting to pull the curtain and just get showered in everybody's money and garbage. But man, I feel like if you wait, like you think of like Breath of the Wild, right? So if like Skyward Sword came out and they're like, we want to do an open whatever, they had that working tech demo that looked pretty complete back in
I think it was
2013,
I think it's 2014
for the Wii U.
Yep.
They could have 100% released it a year later
Mm-hmm.
and made a whole lot of money just because of the name. But people, it probably wouldn't have been as good. It probably wouldn't have been as thought out, fleshed out.
Yeah.
But they waited and they waited and they waited, and then Breath of the Wild came out, and they made so much money off it. I think we already looked it up. Is that the top selling Switch game?
I think so, yeah.
No.
Really?
It's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's weird.
I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah, Mario Kart, Animal Crossing Ultimate, and then Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So
it's the best-selling non-multiplayer game.
Single player, yeah. Probably.
Better way to put that, yeah.
Yeah.
Non-multiplayer. Yeah. Single player is a better way to say that. But yeah. Yeah. And I think that was also largely to help sell the Switch too, which it did.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, it was very clearly like there's a double entendre, if you will. That's not what double entendre means. I don't know what entendre means. but I know it's not how I used it as. Go ahead, Mason.
So so yeah, just kind of comparing, like you mentioned Call of Duty, they've had a yearly release every year since 2005. Every year. 16 years. They've not missed a year.
That's insane,
Yeah.
dude.
Insane.
Holy balls.
And, they brought in it used to be Treyarch and Infinity Ward, and then they brought in Sledgehammer. And technically Raven works a lot on all of them.
What did Raven do? That sounds very familiar.
Raven does a lot of like helping on a bunch of games. Like
Okay.
Raven Software, mostly Call of Duty, and they help. Let me see here. Let me look at these games.
Oh yeah, like I freaking know that logo.
Yeah, they help on a ton of stuff. They've done Warzone, Cold War, Modern Warfare, Black Ops 3, World War 2. They help on like literally
They help on
every
pretty much Call of
Duty.
Duties.
Yeah. And they've done some other stuff in the past, but they did a Wolfenstein in 2009. But
Weird.
Call of Duty rotates between 3 companies now. So technically each game has 3-year development process or development cycle, and then Raven helps them with everything. I imagine Raven does a lot of like the non-creative stuff since they're always working on Call of Duties.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything in between. They probably do a lot of the gameplay and all that, but like a lot of the tweaking. But even though that they're 3 companies and they have 3-year development cycles, like technically we've waited 3 years on God of War, and Sledgehammer has been working on Call of Duty the same amount of time. But because they're so restricted that they have to line up with what the last one was, like they've been working on it, for 3 years, but they have to communicate with Infinity Ward and Treyarch and say, we've got to make ours coherent to your gameplay style, at least pretty similar,
Yeah.
So it still limits them. That's not a yearly release technically. It is in franchise, but it's not from the same. It's not from each company a yearly release, but it still limits them to being kind of stale.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the best example of that. Do you remember who made? Balls. The one after Black Ops 3. I'm not going to be able to remember it.
Ghost.
No. Ghost was Black Ops 2.
Okay.
Ghost was Black Ops 2.
It was Modern
Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare.
Because
Right,
Advanced
yeah.
Warfare was the first one with the jumpies.
Yes.
Because it went Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3,
Yes.
and by that point, people were sick, and everybody was like, please give us boots on the ground. And then, of course,
They make
I
it
think it was,
fly.
was it Sledgehammer that did?
Sledgehammer did
Infinite Warfare?
That was the first. No, Infinity Ward did.
Yeah, so like,
Sledgehammer's
I felt bad for
first
Infinity.
one was Advanced.
Yeah. I felt bad for Infinity Ward because everybody was like screaming, like, we're going to kill somebody if I don't get to play Boots on the Ground Call of Duty again.
Yeah.
And then you remember they dropped that trailer, and it was the most disliked video on YouTube.
Yes. Yeah.
With like millions of dislikes.
Yeah.
People were so pissed, but you're exactly right. Like, they didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
They had to. Probably didn't have enough time because, like, yeah, you're communicating, but you know that they drop like the one ahead of them. They're gonna drop some stuff that you're like, oh, dang, we gotta freaking include that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So like, those 3 games all play very similar. They all feel like their respective developers.
Yeah.
In terms of Call of Duty. But man, people were pissed.
Yep.
People were so pissed. That's why that same year they did the
remaster.
COD 4 remaster.
Yeah. Yep.
Because they had to save face.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people that they bought Infinite Warfare and it came with it, and they just didn't touch Infinite Warfare. They just played COD 4.
That was me.
Yeah.
I only played COD 4.
Yep.
And I played COD 4 for 25 minutes. And then I played Infinity Warfare for 20 minutes, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like,
Not good.
it was fun,
Mm.
but I didn't want to.
I heard World War II was really bad. I never touched that one.
Yeah, World War II I heard was also really bad, but it was like that. Like, we're talking about uninspired or whatever
Yeah.
Call of Duty games. I feel like that was the most.
Yeah, I agree.
Up until like, I think Black Ops 2 is probably my favorite Call of Duty because I thought that was when it really, like, before it was like either older war or modern war. But then this Black Ops 2 was the first, like, let's push it into the future.
Yeah.
It had all of these. That's my wife. Again, I feel like that happens literally every single freaking episode. My wife texts me. Like, that was the first one that was like, let's go into the future. And they had all this futuristic stuff. And it was it was just so cool.
Yeah.
And then they just kept going into the future, and people were like, let's go back, and it shifted and went back all the way back to World War II.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that the game did its stuff was so different. It wasn't it was still loot boxy.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very just like, I don't know, like it was so interesting to watch people play. Like you think of like kill streaks.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to, I don't know, put something on the map, or like usually you'd pull up like a screen or whatever. With this, you had like an actual map, and I remember you would watch a guy open the map, and I was like, that's so interesting. I wouldn't have ever thought about that.
Yeah.
But it was the most like, I don't know, I thought it was the most interesting, but apparently the gameplay was horrible.
Yeah.
It's just not a
They
fun
had
game
a really
to play.
interesting zombies mode in it too.
Yeah, I think that's something people are starting to. I mean, that's for a lot of people. They already just play Call of Duty for zombies.
Yeah,
which is, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's not that fun.
No.
If you only play it for zombies, I think you're kind of a loser.
I tried because I have fond memories of zombies.
Yeah,
and I was in high school.
Oh yeah,
Tried to go back and play it on because Black Ops 3 was free for the PS5.
Yeah,
or 4. I can't remember, one of them. Whatever had the Zombie Chronicles.
Yeah,
and
Black Ops 3.
It was free on PS5, and so I downloaded it, and man, I couldn't do it. Like I'd get so bored.
Yeah, it was.
I used to play it for hours.
And I mean, I think that's sort of what has slowly started to choke Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Granted, the BR has really
fixed
that. Because, I mean, even BRs they're as simple as a regular Call of Duty match, but they're bigger and new stuff can happen.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they're going to be really big. But, like, I mean, I have not been able to play a Call of Duty unless I'm playing with friends. If I'm playing with friends, I can play it for a little bit longer. But it's like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same game over and over and over. And I feel like the repetitiveness has driven a lot of people away.
Yeah.
But I kind of have a thought to it, but I wanted to ask, like, why do you think Call of Duty has stayed so relevant? Because I don't think it's just name. Because its name was destroyed with Infinite Warfare.
So I think that the Modern Warfare reboot really saved them. I think if they hadn't have done that, they wouldn't be here. I think that really saved them, and they're going off of the stuff that we were kind of, our age was at the tail end. I mean, I was 13 when so I was 12 when Modern Warfare, when COD 4 came out, I think 2007. Yeah. 11 or 12. Yeah. So we're kind of at the tail end of all the nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
But with Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War being a sequel to a game that's like 12 years old, 10 years old, whatever.
Is that a sequel to?
It's the same
the regular
characters.
Black Ops.
It's got Woods.
Lord, freaking Black Ops 2 is supposed to be a sequel to Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2's, well, that one is too.
Well, yeah, but it's
like in between. It's in the same time.
And then Black Ops, the holy balls of timeline.
Yeah,
because you got Black Ops, Cold War. Like you have Black Ops, and then you have Cold War, which is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Black Ops 2 is made, which is way in the future. Black Ops 3 was even farther in the future.
Yeah.
Black Ops 4 was in between Black Ops, I think, 2 and 3.
Okay.
And now we're Cold War. We're going back before Black Ops 2.
Yeah, Cold War's in the 80s. So.
Oh, my God. And Frank Woods has been in all of them.
Yeah.
It's freaking... he hasn't actually been in all of them. But it feels like he's been in all of them.
He was in 2, right? He was an old man.
Yeah, he was an old man in 2.
Yeah.
I don't think he was in 3.
I don't think he was in 3.
In 4, he was like they had like a simulation thing. He was like, "Hey, idiot!" It came out. It just started cussing at you. He was like, "I'm gonna go smoke a cigar," and then he's like, "Go hit these targets," and then that was it. Because Black Ops 4 didn't really have a didn't have a campaign.
Yeah, that's right. He's the main character in Cold War. So or at least
Yeah, and they chose a new voice actor, right?
I don't know. I haven't played it.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
I've just seen it from trailers, and he's in like all the trailers, and he's in
It's freaking
Warzone,
nuts.
and it was like a big
Oh, yeah.
deal. Yeah. So I think nostalgia for Modern Warfare, and then jumping on Battle Royale and making Warzone saved them, and then now Warzone carries into Cold War, where you can play with both content or the content of both games. And because a lot of people, that's their favorite. Like, okay, a lot of people love Apex, and it's like the if you really,
I think it's the best
Yeah.
BR.
I like Warzone the best because I don't know, it just comes second nature to me, I guess, after playing Call of Duty for so long, and I don't
Yeah.
really want to learn. God, I always hit the metal thing. I wonder how many times we've done that collectively.
Yeah, well, you can hear it when, like, if one of us yells, you can hear it reverberate into the mic. So, like, when I edit it, like usually when I do my outro or whatever,
Yeah.
I can, so, like, you know, I should be baby, woo, and
Yeah.
you hear like a woo. But then we have the music
Is it
over it, so you
bad?
can't hear it on Spotify, huh?
It's this thing that I keep banging down here. That's what.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Wow.
it's the one that, like, the lateral bar
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
through it. Yeah,
That's funny.
it's freaking wacko.
Wacko. But anyway, yeah, I think that's why they're still relevant.
Yeah.
What do you think? You have different opinion?
I think those are probably pretty likely. The one I thought about was, like, I guess it's kind of two. It's like Call of Duty has a very low. It's got a very intense skill gap, but a very low.
Yeah.
You don't have to be very good to be average
Yeah.
at Call of Duty.
Yeah. That's very true.
Like, you can kind of just fart around and,
Yeah.
you know, get like 15 kills. Like, if
Yeah.
you're just playing TDM,
Yeah. No, you're
you
right.
can get like
yeah.
15 kills a game.
Yeah.
It's not super hard.
Yeah.
So I think that the fact that
Keep
they've-
talking. I'm going to turn this air off. I'm cold.
yeah, okay, the fact that you have like a really, this feels kind of weird. It's just me and you guys. How y'all doing? The fact that they have like a very low entry level of skill, yet at the same time have a massive skill hike. You're always going to find people that are about as good as you are. And I think also if you haven't bled through your lifeline
Yeah.
of playing Call of Duty,
Yeah.
it's addicting as crap.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing it back in high school. Like, that was, holy cow, just playing Call of Duty for hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours. And they're always going to have specifically that younger audience that, you know, for the first time is starting to get that crazy endorphin rush when
Yeah.
you're just doing well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why Call of Duty is never going to fully drop.
Yeah.
Even if it falls flat on its face, it
Yeah.
just has, 8 games in a row that are as received as poorly as Infinite Warfare,
Mm.
because of the fact that they generally attract a younger audience. It's never going to flop.
Yeah.
Because it'll always have that base of people that just enjoy the mindlessness of playing it.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. Because even when, when the pandemic first started, and that was like how we would hang out with people, and I was getting it was like, mostly it still was just a nostalgic kick because I hadn't played Call of Duty really in forever, and then I still would play by myself sometimes though. I'd end work because I've been working remotely since last March, and so I'd end work and my PS5 was right, or not my PS5, my PS4 was right there with me. I just turn it on and wait till my wife got done working, because she got done working like an hour-ish after me. Play some Call of Duty, and that was the first time I enjoyed doing that in a long time. So yeah, so I definitely agree. I think it was force-fed to me through high school, and that's why I was like, I don't want this for 5 years or whatever.
The people that played it as intensely as they did when they were younger, I would be interested to see the number of like you're gonna have people like we have our one friend, he who shall be unnamed, who like only ever plays Call of Duty, and he's been playing it nonstop since like Modern Warfare 3.
Oh yeah,
and you're gonna have people that just like that's their genre, that's their thing, is their FPS online games. That's totally fine. but you're also always going to have the nostalgic people that want to come back to it, as well as that new base that just want an endorphin rush. And the fact that they always get like, I think that their advertising is really good for Call of Duty.
Oh yeah.
Like you think about that Modern Warfare 2 advert with the old guy, and was like, they're doing it in groups. It just like, that was really funny. And
all of them were so good. Yeah.
They've got those like massive production ads where they get like a bunch of celebrities in it. Like they're just like, everything's all crazy, explosions. You're like, holy crap, that's what this game is. And then all Warzone is just getting destroyed by kids who are like, I don't know how they hold the controllers, all the sweat that they're like producing from their palms.
Have you seen those memes? And it's like this guy, and it'll be like Call of Duty back when I was a kid, and he's leaning back, he's like way back in his chair, and he's talking, they're listening to music or something.
Yeah.
Having fun. He's like, oh guys, I just got my nuke or something. I just got the Moab.
Yeah.
And then like now it shows him, and he's scraping his mouse, and he's like, he's one shot. One shot. I'm down. And he's yelling, and he's sweating. And I was like, this is it's very true. Because I remember it being like, it would be late night, early morning hours, on Fridays. And just it being just chilling on there.
Dude, I
now
remember
it's no way.
Freaking Modern Warfare. I don't know how many times I would join a lobby and some kid is just playing that like, so what, we get drunk, so what, we smoke weed. I just be like, dude, I'm just trying to relax. You got is that Wiz Khalifa? I think
so. Yeah. I don't know.
Living young and wild and free.
He was really popular back then.
Yeah,
I kind of forgot he existed.
Dude, I will never forget he existed solely because of Modern Warfare 3. Like when I think Modern Warfare 3, I think of like that being my first ever Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
And I think of freaking Wiz Khalifa.
I think of it's funny
camo.
though, because I think of the weed camo. That's right.
No, I don't know if that was
in I think it was in
it wasn't Black Ops 2.
I think it was in Black Ops 3 maybe.
It's
the last one I bought.
Something where it was like you couldn't make your clan tag like poop.
Yeah.
But you could have like a weed thing. Yeah. It's freaking, I was like, come on.
Yeah.
But what was that what was the thing that you were you had said that you disagreed with something, and I said that I agreed with it.
Yeah, so let me scroll down to this article. It was the article we were going to go over, but I'll scroll down through here and tell you exactly what it was. Maybe
I'll fill some.
Here we go.
Okay.
You can go ahead and put in some filler if you want.
No, it's all good.
So says yearly having games released every year means that not everyone can afford to get the latest iteration because they just spent $60 10 months ago or at Christmas, which in turn means that each game has at least some longevity. Sorry, the page just jumped because of an ad. With multiplayer, as well as a fair chunk of players that will not be willing to shell out for the latest title, there will always be a decent player base for each title for at least 2 years, is what the author of this article is saying. Which I was still, when I'm reading this, I'm like, most people I know immediately jumped off of the game and got the new Call of Duty. And I don't know. To me, I see it as like, I don't know if people still play Overwatch, so this might defeat my argument, but I see it as like Overwatch 2.
It didn't have like of course it didn't have like the base and community, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they're still doing like esports. Okay. It's like, that's one of the most console, most like intense team play.
Yeah. So yeah, sort of like that where.
That was a horrible sentence, by the way. That was like, I'm just thinking about it. I was like, that's one of the most console team play.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Most games like that are on PC, and it's got the console market.
You got like the Dota and your Dota League. And your League.
Your League.
I don't even know really what those are. Go ahead, Mason.
All right. So the way that I'm thinking about it is, you want a game to have a long-lasting audience. like Battlefront 2 still has a pretty big audience, I think. Then give it a good amount of time in between games so that people keep playing them. Because the way that I see it, it's like, yeah, people aren't going to want to buy it every year, but a lot of people still do. A lot of people still buy the new sports games. I mean, I knew people and still do that buy it. You are one of them. 2K comes out, buy it. There's a 20.
Okay, I don't know about that. I don't know how quick that is. But you do. You're not wrong.
Yeah. But I don't know. The way I see it is if you want to have a community that stays on your game for a longer amount of time, then
Make a good game.
make a good game, but don't make one 12 months after it, 11 months later, and start marketing for it 5 months later.
Yeah.
Like, game comes out in October and they start marketing for the new one in March. It's insane.
Yeah.
So, I think the way that they've done it with Modern Warfare and Cold War, like I said before, is interesting because they share content on Warzone. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, this
it's
is
like a
this is
weird-
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't done this. Like, yeah, they've done stuff before where they're like, oh, we're like, I think the Zombies Origins on Black Ops 3 came out when Black Ops 3 was like a 2 and a half, 2 years old. Like,
Yeah.
deep into the
Yeah.
next one was already in full swing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird to me to say that, well, there's always going to be a player base when you're 3 games down the line, because this says at least 2 years, if not more. So it's like, who is still playing Infinite Warfare? Who's still playing
Well,
World War II?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of the newer ones I feel like would fit what you're thinking more.
Yeah.
I think like Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Like that was I still have friends that play it every now and then.
Yeah.
Like, granted, the servers aren't very good and it's just full of hackers. And I think if you could eliminate the people that just cheat after the game is done and its life cycle is over,
Yeah.
you would see a ton of people playing it. Because
Yeah.
I still think Black Ops 2 is the most fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most just everything from the guns to the health to drop off and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Kill streaks.
Yeah.
I just think it's the most fun. And I remember the new ones coming out, like Infinite War or Advanced Warfare, and then Black Ops 3, and a lot of my friends that play Call of Duty consistently were playing the new ones, but it was still like people still wanted to play, and I think the player base that will continue those old games are the people that don't really enjoy the new ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, because you're always going to have the people that the new Call of Duty, that's their favorite Call of Duty ever.
Yeah.
And they're just going to hold the base.
Mm-hmm.
And, for some of them, Modern Warfare 2, which everyone talks about as like the best,
Yeah.
that had a player base for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have something like Infinite Warfare that was not like a bad game. Like, none of these games have been bad.
Yeah.
They've just not been fun.
Yeah.
And Infinite Warfare wasn't fun.
Uh-huh.
It was a good shooter.
Yeah.
Crappy story. I will say crappy story.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I agree with it. I see where you're coming from, but I still feel like let's say the Call of Duty or Black Ops 2 was free on PlayStation 5. I'd probably play it.
Oh, yeah. I would play it. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but and maybe it was just the community that I was playing in, but it was like, you go and get it at GameStop at midnight, and we're gonna play
Oh my
all night
gosh.
because it's like the new one's out. We got to buy it.
I did that with Ghosts.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh my gosh, I didn't really like Ghosts, and I was
Yeah.
so pissed
No, I
that I
didn't
stayed
either.
up. I skipped school. I skipped
Wow.
high school at a private Christian school. Like, that doesn't happen. You don't get to do that. My parents are like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I can skip school? Play video games all night? Oh, wait, no, I didn't skip school. I went home. I went to school. I just stayed up and was like dead the whole day. That I remember that.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I get that argument, and they are different-ish enough. They're different eras and stuff like that, so I get
Mhm.
it. Like you're saying, from Black Ops 2 way in the future, and then we went back to World War II, and then we're at the Cold War and Modern Warfare and all this stuff. So I
Yeah.
get it, but I don't know. I also feel like the yearly release because I'm not the guy who you're talking about earlier, I feel like I can't get in a good amount of freaking unlocks in a year.
Yeah.
Like
They're
in my adult
so
life,
grind
no
heavy.
way. Yeah.
I remember. I mean, like Black Ops 3. I've got a buddy who put hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
And he still didn't have all the guns because they locked so many of the guns behind the loot boxes.
Yeah.
You had like Modern Warfare Remaster where they put new guns in.
Yeah.
But you had to build them.
Yeah.
Building them, you had to open loot boxes.
Yeah.
Which you only got by playing an obscene amount of time.
Yeah.
Or shelling out some hard-earned cash.
Yeah.
So it's like they have designed them to be more than just, like your old school COD 4 run, shoot, game end, run, shoot, game end.
Yeah.
So they designed them to last longer because I think people are getting sick of the whole run, shoot, game end.
Yeah.
But I think that's a valid point of like, yeah, it adds longevity for the people that are going to keep playing it, but for the people that get it after sort of the initial hype,
Yeah.
they don't have enough time for the next one comes out.
Yeah.
And then there's like do I want to play this old one or get the new one? And it keeps repeating over and over and over and over and over.
Maybe I just lack self-control. Maybe I'm just impulse buying.
That might be
Very
the case.
possible.
You're just like really impulsive, when it comes to Call of Duty.
Not anymore. It used to be.
No, oh yeah, absolutely. I was the same way.
There is another point in this article that I think is actually a good point. It says that yearly releases allow for continuous jumping on points for new players in a particular game series. So this is a good point because, like, say, game came out, Modern Warfare came out, and you didn't get it until you weren't going to buy it until spring sale, and it's May, and you just say, well, everybody's already way better than me. There's already a meta that I don't want to get into. You could just wait until October and get Cold War or whatever's coming out this year.
Yeah, whatever.
So that's a good point that there's constant, and it's kind of like we were saying with reboots last week, is it gives you an entry point like very often. And that may be another reason that Call of Duty's still around. Like, even if people fall off, they give enough entry points for people to jump on.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't played Overwatch at this point, there's no way you're going to get into it because people are going to be.
Yeah.
It has a much higher barrier of entry.
Yeah. You can't. It's got, yeah.
And it's almost the same way for, like, Battle Royale. It's the same way I feel about Apex. I'm like, everybody's going to be so much better than me. I'm just going to hate it for, like, weeks. I'm going to hate it. And then.
You can get dumpster.
Yeah.
Dumpster done.
That's what I'm like, I don't want to play it. Like, I have people at work. They're like, we're playing Apex tonight. I don't want to get mad. I don't want to do it. So, but I think that's a good point that it gives people an opportunity to jump in every year that if they want to. So that's probably how they keep getting the younger fans because you're always somebody else.
You're able to jump on into something brand new and you don't feel like you're behind because everybody's behind. Yeah. That young base that just wants to drop N-bombs and talk about your mom.
Man,
classic.
I remember it.
Nostalgic.
Dude.
That was how
the same without it.
That was how the 2019 Modern Warfare, like,
it was like that. My experience.
Well, people were just screaming in the lobbies and stuff like that, and I was like, that was the first time I was like, wow, this actually feels like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
This feels like somebody blasting Wiz Khalifa in their mic as other people are screaming about wanting to kill each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. So
I have a funny story about Modern Warfare 3, just really quick. Back when me and a guy that we used to be friends with used to play all the time, we ran into these guys that said that they were professionals and that they were going to go to championships and stuff because they believed this other guy who was their leader, their team leader, has led them on for years. It was like, yeah, the hotel reservations fell through, but you're going to be rooming with him and he's going to be and they were so hyped up about it. Like, I knew the whole team. I can't remember what their clan was, what their team was, but they were like, yeah, we're going to go to the amateur leagues in Vegas and he's paying for all of it. And I was like, what is going on? And so, I mean, had like 12 people duped, and these were not young people. Like, these were not kids. These were people old enough to buy the game. People
like,
in their 20s.
He who shall not be named was duping people?
No.
Oh,
Some other guy.
Gotcha.
He
he was
the guy that we
playing
used to be
with
friends
you.
with knew
Gotcha.
the same people. Yeah, we
Gotcha.
bumped when we used to play all the time. You make online friends. We made friends with this group of people. Yeah, and whoever their clan leader was kept duping them for months. Be like, oh, plans fell through. They dropped the sponsorship, man. Like, we're sponsored by, and like I talked to him. They're like, Monster just picked us up, and I was like, bull. Nobody, they're not. You don't even know.
You're
like,
a nobody.
this was like Modern Warfare 3 when YouTube was just picking up. Like Call of Duty YouTube was taking off.
Yeah,
it was big, but it not like it is.
Your wings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Wings of Redemption.
Wings of Redemption. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah. White Boy 7th Street. That was.
Oh shoot, X-Jaws.
I think I remember X-Jaws.
Yeah, and then he started doing drugs.
There's some. It's so funny, like the YouTube culture back then. To now. There's some people in trailers like that would do drugs and get strung out, and then there would be a news story about like them dead. And now it's like, we live in a massive mansion right on the corner in San Diego. 12 people living here, and we're all 13. And it's like,
and then they do drugs and get strung out.
It's behind the scenes now. Like then you would see them, and they'd be recording their screen.
You'd be watching them do like a line of coke.
Insane! What a time! What an era!
Oh
so,
man.
Anyway, just a quick story of that back then. That brought up memories of. Back then. So funny. So you mentioned earlier sports games and how they kind of get a pass. And I think that too, because they aren't, and when you think about it, Call of Duty almost gets a pass in that way too. Just not to the extent, because it's not a real life thing. Like it is, but you don't play games in Afghanistan running around capturing the flag. So
you could. We could do that. That sounds kind of awesome.
Well, sports games are made off of these real life games, and it's
supposed to be simulations.
Yeah, and you can't build on top of those too much, except for like the street games where you could like kill each other.
Yeah, yeah. Like I agree and disagree. Like I completely agree. Like NBA 2K is built off of the NBA and basketball. Yeah. And the game of basketball, although it changes, like in terms of like a meta and how the sport is played, there's no. You dribble a ball, you put the ball in the basket, you get some points. That's the entirety of the game. Yeah. And over the years, they have included what's interesting about sports games is that their difficulty is balancing the realism of the simulation of the game. They're trying to make it as realistic and as accurate as it can be, while also including new and fun features surrounding the game. So
I agree with that.
Specifically for 2K, NBA 2K. I'm just gonna call it 2K from now on because it's 2K. That's what I think about.
When people
2K.
say 2K, I think
it's basketball basically. You think of like the park, which is basically you create a player and then you take that player and you play against other people's created players. Yeah. And so like the park, when that came out, that was huge. That was a massive upgrade. And they have since built on the park and doing sort of pro-am, which is like sort of hired skill. You have like the rec, which is more, whereas the park is very just like street ball. You have the rec, which is much more like 5-on-5 type of deal. Yeah. You have stuff that you can actually bet your own in-game currency on, which is just as painful losing as real money because that jaunt is not cheap. It is like, it's insane. But then they also have like features, like stuff like badges that help like with certain things. Mm-hmm. So it's like people are really pissed off with 2K21 next gen because it feels like 2K is kind of spitting in the face of the fan base, which they absolutely are. Yeah, the game's $70. It looks like garbage. Yeah. They always hype up their story mode thing where they're like, we got all these celebrities in, and then the mocap is abysmal. The voice acting is atrocious. Yeah, like it's so bad. I remember sitting there being like, I cannot believe I dropped $70 on this game, and I've not picked it back up. I played it for about a week.
Yeah.
And then put it down because I was like, I'm not gonna play any more of this. This is not fun.
Yeah.
You have to pay to win. So it's like, it makes sense that they have a yearly release because rosters change and slight different rules change, and uniforms, especially nowadays. They're coming out with the NBA is coming out with new uniform or variations every single year. So it's like all that stuff changes with, the graphics are supposed to be better, even though they've kind of plateaued recently.
Yeah.
So all that stuff makes sense that they would have like a yearly release, but man, they're taking a dookie on everything else. Like, there is no reason that if you play 2K20 last gen, there's no reason to get 2K21 because it is kind of the same game, just more frustrating.
Yeah.
So it's like they get a pass, but people get burnt out. Like, and it's kind of the same way with Call of Duty. Like, the old ones have massive fan bases. I mean, people have ditched next gen 2K21 to go to previous gen, like Xbox One and PS4, go play 2K20.
Yeah.
Because they think it's better. Mm-hmm. And so that 2K20 is a massive fan base. You have people that loved 2K16.
Yeah.
And 2K16 is still a thing. People generally mod off of 2K16 or 2K14. So those still have big fan bases. So it's like they have these massive fan bases, and nobody wants to play the new game because they're worried they're just going to basically lose money because you are. Yeah. Especially freaking 2K. Oh, my God. I'm freaking pissed. I'm really pissed.
Yeah.
I spent $70.
I don't think I've bought a full price PS5 game.
I've bought like 2. And one of them, Demon Souls, phenomenal.
Well, yeah.
Amazing game.
Yeah.
NBA 2K21. Oh my God. The drop off is aggressive. If you were to if it were to be a cliff and Demon Souls, if you were to drop off the Demon Souls cliff onto the 2K21 cliff, you're like a puddle when you hit the ground. It's that massive. You are like burning as you're entering Earth's atmosphere. The difference is astronomical.
Yeah.
Like Demon Souls is a complete game, all that stuff.
Yeah.
As soon as you boot up 2K21, like I could tell, like, oh my God, this game sucks. Like, you boot it up and it brings you to the main menu, right? And it's supposed to have like they always have like the 2K soundtrack, which is always horrible, and like that starts up. But then if you're online, they have this 2K online thing or whatever. It's like a little like podcast thing that they do, whatever bull crap.
Nice.
And like, so I turn it on.
Competition.
You hearing the music? Yeah, you hearing the music like start up. It's playing. It cuts out abruptly, and you hear the people start talking like 2 seconds later. I was like, dude, you make millions of dollars, and you can't just fix that. You can't just have it like slowly cut in or slowly fade out. I do that on GarageBand when I edit these podcasts. They make millions of dollars and they can't make it sound good.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to jump off the freaking Demon Souls cliff. Oh my God, it pisses me off thinking about the fact I spent $70 on that game. That's $70 I'll never have back.
Yeah.
And then I spent $20 on the in-game currency so that I could kind of have fun. I stopped having fun immediately. I'm sweating.
All right.
Don't get the next 2K. I'm on the bandwagon. I thought that I was going to be on the bandwagon. I wasn't. I paid for it. I'm on the bandwagon.
Are you going to get 22?
Maybe.
You probably will.
Maybe. Yeah. I got 2K20 because it was $3.
Okay.
Online. And if it's $3, by all means, get the game. You're getting about what you paid for.
Yeah.
But
$3,
if you're going to pay $70, do yourself a favor and shoot yourself in the foot before you do it, and then think about if you want to buy it. Because that's exactly what you're going to be doing again if you buy for full price.
I haven't bought a full price game in a long time either. Even for PS4. I buy my stuff on Facebook.
That's so strange.
They're always in good condition.
I guess that's true. Oh, I did. kind of a segue,
Yeah,
unless you have more that you want to
no,
talk
no,
about.
no, go ahead.
Kind of segue. The third, and I think only other game that I paid for full price next gen of $70. No, I didn't. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I got,
that on sale, right?
I got that on sale.
Yeah.
I got the second tier or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
above
Yeah.
base and then below
Deluxe.
like legendary. Make yourself piss your pants. You're gonna love it. We're gonna give you a statue and kiss you. Like below that stage. I got it for like $60. I think it was. So it was like I was paying normal price for what I should have paid $80 for.
Yeah.
So like I'll do that.
Yeah.
But moving on from sports games, because we don't play a lot, and
I don't play any.
Yeah, 2K makes me sweat.
Yeah,
literally, and it makes me an angry person.
I can tell.
I can't play it.
I can tell.
I can't play it very long. My wife gets pissed because I yell, and I don't really yell when I play games anymore. But she'll come in. She's like, "Are you okay?"
Checking on you.
I'm like, I'm about ready to flip out. I'm like, you tell me why I have a 99 3-point rating, and I am breaking everything, Sarah. So, moving on to Assassin's Creed.
Moving on. This is kind of like what I was talking about at the beginning, at the top of the hour.
Has it been an hour?
Yeah, we're at an hour and 1 minute now.
Oh, wow.
So, we can skip the last section I have on there if you want.
Okay.
So, but kind of like what I was saying when we started is that Assassin's Creed had, like you said, a game a year or more with Rogue and Unity, and more if you count spinoffs from what you said 2007 to
07 to
2019.
Valhalla, which was if you just do the decade, that was when they had the most. They had
I would count 2020.
You count 2020?
Yeah, I would count.
So from 07 to 2020, I think that they had 13 games.
Okay.
No, 12 games. 12 games.
So
12 games in 14 years.
Pretty much a game a year.
Basically.
Yeah. What was the timeline between Odyssey and Origins and Valhalla? Because they weren't yearly, right? It's been a while since.
No. So they were. So it goes Assassin's Creed, the original release in 07. You had Assassin's Creed 2 in 09, Brotherhood 10, Revelations 11, Assassin's Creed 3 12. That's Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag 2013. You had Rogue Unity, Assassin's Creed Black Flag 2013, Rogue and Unity 2014, and then Syndicate in 2015.
Okay.
And then as soon as Unity came out and it was Syndicate was basically the same as Unity. It looked exactly the same and not a fun game.
No.
People were like, I'm gonna kill myself if I have to play another one of these games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a hidden blade. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna assassinate myself.
I used to watch so many tutorials on YouTube of how to do that.
Bro, I wanted to make one.
Yeah.
Back when I was in high school, I was like, dude, I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna be a crime fighter. And I'm gonna protect people with my hidden blade. So that was Syndicate came out in 2015. People were like, please take a break.
Yeah.
Ubisoft finally listened. They took a break, released Origins 2017, which was a massive success. I didn't like the new style. It went very much into
I didn't like it.
into role playing.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like that style. The style of like being able to one shot people and just knife people like crazy. That was so much fun. Origins came out in 2017. They spat in everybody's faces and released Odyssey the next year in 2018.
Yeah. So it was just a year turnaround.
They took a break because Odyssey was not an Assassin's Creed game. It was a role-playing stealth looter game under the guise of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't the same.
And then Valhalla was in 2020, so they took a little bit of a break because people were really pissed with Odyssey.
Yeah.
And the game wasn't very good.
Yeah.
They're just, I mean, it's kind of like the Ubisoft thing that I'm pretty sure that we've talked about. Just like the Ubisoft model of make a world that nobody will ever spend the entire time going through.
Yeah.
Like nobody is going to do that.
Yeah.
And even though they don't do as many yearly releases, there's still the memory of Assassin's Creed is forever stained.
Yeah.
With that, with Unity and Syndicate specifically. Unity destroyed Ubisoft's credibility as like making a good, working, bug-free game. It was a really pretty good story.
Yeah, it was.
Main character was okay.
Yeah. Fun
gameplay when it wasn't buggy.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of bugs with it, but people said. And then Syndicate was just boring.
Yes.
Syndicate really Syndicate was really what pushed everybody to be like, stop. Like, please stop.
The only thing good in Syndicate was like the detective missions. And even those were just bad versions of the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Like bad versions of the Batman games.
I heard people really liked they had a DLC for Jack the Ripper. That looked really cool.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, on Jack the Ripper. And then like instead of Eagle Vision, you have like Scream.
Scream.
Yeah, so like if, you would just like every now and then you'd be like, Wah! People would freak out or whatever. You like walking around with a hood on your head and a top hat. You have a knife in the other hand. You like scare people. You just go, Wah! And people like, oh!
Insane.
It's so funny. But no, yeah, like people are really sick of Assassin's Creed, and for relatively good reason. I think like Valhalla, I think is the best that they've done gameplay wise in terms of the new pseudo RPG, I hate when people say it, but Dark Souls, like, target, circle dodge type of deal. Story's not very good.
No,
I don't really care about the characters.
Yeah.
Odyssey was just a bad game.
Yeah.
It wasn't Assassin's Creed, and that's what drove people away. So it's like, I would not be surprised if Ubisoft takes a break.
Yeah.
I don't think that they will because it makes too much money.
Yeah.
I think that they absolutely should, and consider going back to like Brotherhood has always been my favorite.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
I think as soon as they kind of tore away from the historical aspect of it and just started free balling, it was like,
I mean,
not doing good.
Yeah, that was the big thing, was that it was like, it was this strange but really interesting blend of like, you're playing with, you're talking with Leonardo da Vinci.
Yep. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, you're fighting mystical beasts.
Yeah.
Like in Valhalla, I walked up to a place and it looked cool. So I started looking around. I talked to somebody. He was like, run away. Then all of a sudden, this like freaking spectral wolf that was like 115 levels higher than me spawned. And I was like, oh my God. I thought this was historical.
Yeah.
And then I died. And so like, I would agree. As soon as they went away from being historical and tried to be more of a, we're going to make our own story, but granted, they were always kind of like that. Like
they were,
but it was tasteful.
Yeah.
It was very tasteful.
And they made it kind of interesting, like secret society-ish, like
Templars and
the
stuff
Templars,
like that.
the Freemasons,
the actual
Assassins. Like it was interesting to think, because there's so much unknown history with that, to think like, okay, like obviously, it's fiction, but it's cool to like go back and have these filler stories of what could have happened and things like that, and then it's like,
and
you go.
I mean, the fact that the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood like is based off of literal Persian assassins back in. I don't remember when it was. First game was in the Holy, in the Crusades. Back in like Acre. I don't know where Acre is. I think it's like
the Order of Assassins. They were the Shia military order. Sect of Shia Islam who lived in the mountains of Persia and in Syria between 1090 and 1275. Yeah,
so around the time that the first Assassin's Creed was, because that was right around the Crusades, the early 10s.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were always kind of like the pieces of Eden or like these mystical
yeah.
sort of things. But it was like it was so like it was tasteful. Like it felt like, okay, this is like the one thing that's kind of gripping or breaking from reality.
Yeah.
And you can work around that. Like if you're wanting a purist, you know.
Yeah.
If you're wanting like a pure what it was like back then,
Yeah.
I would imagine they're not hooded men jumping from 18 stories into hay bales and living.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the new ones are just, they feel uninspired. They feel like Ubisoft games, and people are getting sick of Ubisoft.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
they have a formula, and it's old.
Assassin's Creed is like that as a concept. I think it's my favorite franchise. I think that it is the coolest idea.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Everything about it, the espionage, the stealth, the it's just badass. It's just cool. Everything about it is cool. And now it's feeling very much like a really dog crap parkour Dark Souls. Yeah. Which I hate when people just use Dark Souls as like a genre. Yeah. Even though it kind of spawned one. Yeah. But but like even the spin-offs. 08, 2 and 09, 12, 13, 14, 15, 3 and 16, 17, 18. Yeah. That's insane. Yeah. Ridiculous. There are way too many. Like, I heard the Chronicle games were okay because they were at least like visually interesting. Yeah. But it's like, I mean, granted, the last 3 have been mobile only. Yeah. So it's like, nobody really cares about those. But it's like, ugh. Man, I don't know. It's
funny because, and I've said this before, but they made these games from the Prince of Persia, and now they're kind of like, we're going to put this on the back burner and remaster Prince of Persia. Yeah. That comes out like next year.
Should.
Yeah, they should.
Absolutely should.
I think that comes out next month. I think it comes out in June. But yeah, because I saw the graphics of that. Didn't look great at first, but like it looks.
Do you think it looks as bad as Claw Persia, Prince of Persia with the bear claw? Yeah. Really? I haven't seen like screenshots of the new one because they're redoing Sands of Time, right?
Wait. I might just be absolutely stupid. Will release before April 2022. I thought it came out. I thought it was coming out soon.
Oh, it's just a remake. Oh wait, no. Okay, dude, we talked about the differences.
It's a remake. It's not a remaster. It's a ground up remake.
Oh yeah, that didn't look. Well, I mean,
are you looking at it? That's a remake.
Yeah, that didn't look very good. It definitely looks like the background, at least of the picture that I'm looking at.
You're looking at him holding the sword?
No.
Okay.
Him holding the sword, like where he's on like the side of the wall?
No.
He's gonna turn your computer.
I can't unplug that too much.
It's fine. I'm looking at. I googled Prince of Persia remake, and I'm looking at one. It's got whatever his name is, and he's standing in like it looks like a big hall, and his mouth is open like he's like, "What?"
What's the article name?
Shack News. Oh wait, no. Prince of Persia Sands of Time delayed to March 2020. I'm assuming 22. It looks in the background specifically aesthetically kind of like Demon Souls. Like it's very foggy. It's very like.
I'm putting a link in the bottom of the article. Go look at that.
Okay.
Look at how awful it looks. Like a PS3 game.
Oh wow! Yeah, it's really bad. That's really bad. Why are his eyebrows so thick?
That is bad.
Why are her eyebrows like literally half her face? That's insane.
Why does it look like that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Regardless, Valhalla at least looks gorgeous. Can you imagine? Like, let's say that they put Assassin's Creed on the back burner for, my gosh, the fact that it's crazy to think that they would spend 2 years on a game is insane. Mm-hmm. If they spent 2 years on an Assassin's Creed that is back in the sort of, you know, I've always thought it'd be freaking dope to have one based in actual, like, in Japan. In, like, feudal Japan.
That's what Valhalla was supposed to be, and they pivoted, I thought.
I don't think that it was. I think people wanted it. People have been asking for a Japanese
I don't know
Assassin's
if
Creed.
They shouldn't do it. Gosh, whoops. They shouldn't do it. Well, this is their 2022 entry. Might be that, but this is an article from just from March. So as far as they're saying, but I think it's too close to Ghost of Tsushima to do that.
I mean, Assassin's Creed can definitely put a spin on it.
Yeah,
Because Tsushima is a very localized
it is. Yeah.
conflict.
Yeah.
There
and it's very, 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 very story driven.
Yeah.
And Assassin's Creed is usually like
the old ones were So like, can you imagine if they did like feudal Japan, sort of like the same old school Assassins, where it was like it felt much more. It was much less of a grindy sort of RPG kind of thing, and it was like just like old school, but in Japan.
Yeah.
You have like freaking dope katanas. Oh my god!
I mean, that would be
amazing. That would sell so freaking well.
Yeah, it would.
I don't know, but I mean, I guess that goes back to the yearly release argument of like, does it make more sense for a company to wait and make a fantastic game, or wait and make a game that could be fantastic, or if the game sucks, it could just crash and burn, and bankrupt an entire company, or
they've got enough other stuff.
Make a game that isn't all that good, and people aren't gonna like it, but people are gonna buy it regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you built your model on just funneling out games like Ubisoft has, I think that they're changing that. They want to go to more like live service stuff.
Yeah.
Which is very like, oh wow, boy, man, you guys cannot do anything right for the last 5 years.
Yep.
So, it's tough. I understand why they do it. I hate that they do it, but it's like, how are you going to convince them not to do it? You know?
Oh yeah. They have a ton of motive to do that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Assassin's Creed wiki, and there's one called Assassin's Creed Bloodstone, and it is a graphic novel, 2 issues, written Assassin's Creed in the Vietnam War.
They did do like a couple of like
very interesting.
They have done a few things where it's like in like more recent times, like that. Like one thing in, did you play Unity? Like,
yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah, you remember? I mean, honestly, even Syndicate. Syndicate was. I don't remember when it was based, but it was based in like the industrial age.
Yeah, industrial.
So they were
revolution.
Like, your gun, you could shoot a gun 16 times.
Yeah,
it's like I remember freaking in Brotherhood, you just sit there while you watch your guy like.
Yeah. And then in Black Flag, you just pull out a bunch of different.
Yeah, you had 4 freaking guns on your chest. You just like pop, pop. Take 15 minutes to reload them.
Yeah.
And then in this one, you just Wild West shooting at the hip. But
Wild West Assassin's Creed, Cowboy Assassin's Creed.
Nah, that's because the biggest thing, huh?
I said Red Dead has a monopoly on it.
Yeah, pretty much. You can't make a Western anymore.
No.
And it's so hard because you can't really go into the future because the whole point of Assassin's Creed is hand-to-hand or melee combat.
Yeah.
And if you take that away,
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's like, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I love this franchise so much. Or I love what it was.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And it was such like...
It used to be my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember thinking like, I genuinely wanted to build and learn how to make my own hidden blade because I thought that the concept was so cool.
Yeah, I know. I looked at a ton of tutorials. I remember they used a drawer slider.
Yeah.
And figured out a way to put a spring on it. Yeah.
We would get wrist braces and we would take the middle part and put it on the other side and just knife people. Just go out to them.
I did too.
Gotcha, you're dead. You're bled out. We just do that in school. So I was like, it's hard to watch these games just crumble into loot box, just live service Like, it's just, the game is boring. I played it. I probably put in 25, 30 hours. The game was boring. It was
What is
not
it?
fun. Huh?
Valhalla?
Valhalla.
Is that what
Sorry.
you're talking about?
Yeah, Valhalla.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, I put in 10 hours into freaking Odyssey. It was like, this is not Assassin's Creed. And you think like Sparta?
Yeah.
Freaking Athens. That was the coolest freaking thing ever.
I know.
Blew it. They
Yeah.
blew it. They just added like remnants and crap. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry, dude.
I thought that would be the one that would revamp it, but no.
Oh, look at what you done to my boy. Look how you disrespect him. It's the worst.
Yep.
But we had on here talking about Pokemon too. We can talk about that some other time.
We're at an hour and 20 right now.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like if we go into Pokemon, it's gonna go
yeah.
long.
Well, unless you have anything that you want to add.
No. The Assassin's Creed was my wrap up. Yeah.
We're Digital Waypoint.
Noah's mad.
You can join us mourning the loss of one of the coolest video game franchises into greed and idiot people in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Call of Duty. The sweat. I feel like I'm sweating solely from thinking about Call of Duty and from 2K.
Yeah.
We're somber here at Digital Waypoint.
That's
so
right.
why don't you cheer us up by hitting us up at our socials. Talking to us at DigiWaypoint on Twitter and at Digital Waypoint on Instagram.
Yep.
Things that we said that were right, things that we said that were wrong. If you think that I don't know how I did that. If you think that the model for 2K21 is the best, like if you think 2K21 is the best 2K game, you can say it and I'll promptly block you and wish you ill. But if you want to say that, more than welcome. Hit us up in our DMs. Be sure to like us and rate us where you listen if you can. Spotify is still in the Stone Age and you can't like and rate stuff.
That's right.
So, but if you listen to us on Apple Music, go ahead and like it, or Apple Podcasts. Like us, rate us, tell us that we're good boys. That's all we want to hear.
That's all.
If you need visual stimulation, you can hit us up on YouTube.
It's not really stimulation.
It's really not.
It's static image.
If you want to look at a static image because you need some sort of bare bones visual stimulation, hit us up at our YouTube. Again, Digital Waypoint. We're not being really creative with these names, but there you go. All right.
It's consistency.
I'm here. I'm happy that you guys listened to this episode. Mason is looking overjoyed. You look like you're clenching your jaw real bad. You're gonna get TMJ problems.
I actually was over here massaging it because I guess I did that today at work. So it's funny you can see it. Yeah.
Look at that. I'm pretty good at seeing the TMJ problems.
That's right.
You know what else I'm pretty good at doing is reminding the audience as to what time it is, because it's time for the outro music, baby. Woo!